Welcome everyone to VR Jungle Havoc podcast. This is your host Garreltsy, and like I said, I've been getting better. Next week, you're gonna have a nice little image that's gonna show all of our sponsors and affiliates. Just because I don't have to talk about it, you guys can just see it and then go to all the links. But since I don't have that yet, I'll talk about them all. We have, of course, Dubby. In my opinion, one of the best tasting drinks out there, just because I like the taste. I've tried some other ones. That's why I like it. That's why I keep them around, because some of the other ones are chalky whatsoever. But then we got Olin VR, who's also already in the chat already. Look at that. Who also still sponsors, I believe, jBahr's team. Is that correct, jBahr? Right before I say that's wrong, right? Correct.
I believe that's correct.
Yes, so we got Olin VR. He's also in the chat, so if you guys want to check him out and the link that we have, you get a nice little Havoc charm when you use that link. And then we have Ruckup, who is not completely a sponsor yet until 2023, just because he's busy making games. You can go check out his game, though. It is called Don't Get Smashed, and so hopefully we'll have him on later in the year to talk about that. It's going to be a pretty cool game. And then we also have VR Cover. If you want different variety of colors on your headset, you can go check them out. Every link that you need for those discounts are in our description in this YouTube video. And then, of course, Havoc is our esports team that I am the founder of, and they will always be our sponsor because, hey, I love esports as my team. But other than that, today, our guest who we have had on before, so if you want to learn more about him than what we're probably going to talk about today, is jBahr, who is from Beer and Headshots. And I changed the links around. He did some rebranding, so go check out all those links and all the new stuff he's got there. And then, of course, our lovely co-host over there in 720p, because he is away from his house, Mr. Kuss. How you all doing today?
Doing good, man.
Good. jBahr, how you been? Always just looking so precious with that mustache, man.
Precious. That's a
Precious.
new one.
Majestic.
Yeah, I like
No, it's majestic.
Majestic?
I'll take any of that. But yes, I'm doing great. And actually, yeah. So I know I just dropped this on you right before you started the cast tonight. But yeah, so like Beer and Headshots is actually going away, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
I know I'm wearing my sweatshirt and all that. Sadly, and if you want, I can explain that super quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do it.
Because the question comes up all the time now, because people are coming back to my stream and saying, "Oh, why aren't you Beer and Headshots anymore?" Well, so kind of. I mean, I started Beer and Headshots. I've had streams forever, right? And I started Beer and Headshots a couple years back now. And that was before I was even into VR, right? And I was playing just mostly Counter-Strike and drinking and having a good time. It's kind of my style, but I always suspected, right? But I work with a lot of brands out there, actually. I don't know, for some reason I've got some sort of talent, or people just reach out to me or whatever. It's probably the mustache. Honestly, it carries the team over here. But so I've worked with a lot of companies. A lot of them have always been great. And like sometimes things would fall through here and there. So I was always suspecting it could be a branding issue, right? Because Beer and Headshots, I guess, can be kind of rough for marketing purposes. I get it. I'm not blaming anybody. But I was actually recently in talks with a Pico rep. And they were talking to me about they're initially wanting to send me a Pico 4, right? So like that was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, I'd love to try that out. And that fell through, and I actually really like, nothing against Pico because I get it, but and they were actually the only one who did this out of anyone that dropped a deal with me, which was super nice, which they actually told me why, right? And it was because of the branding. They're like, it's kind of tough marketing, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, I could just stick to my guns, or I could just pull the Band-Aid off and switch to something simple, which is now jBahr VR. So like that's my Twitch. That's all my stuff out there, which luckily it was a pretty easy transition, but I'm still holding on a little bit because I do like the Beer and Headshot stuff I had going on.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense. So now I'm gonna have to change his title to was Beer and Headshots jBahr. Yeah. Right. But I mean, Kuss, actually the funny thing is that with the team, when I first met Kuss was with his Pavlov team, and one of the major talks was his team. Because all of their team names were narcotics or stuff like that. And I was like, look, we don't have any brand deals right now that it's a problem, but, it is something that you might, not only as us as an organization, but even if you separate yourself and make your own self a team and call yourself Narcos, it's something you probably want to consider yourself,
Yeah, I can admit I had talks with James that, it'd probably be a good idea to, change a little bit of the style, because the styling would have major issues with a lot of companies. It's like, say, if Coca-Cola came at us, just for, sake. You know,
we still have Coke in our drinks.
There you go. Yeah.
Or Liver King, I'm actually using steroids.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that was a fun thing to watch.
Oh man, I've been watching because I still love him as a person. You know, I still love him as an influencer, stuff like that, and just the whole thing around it. I almost think it's fake. So, but I don't want to get too much into that nitty gritty because I can go days talking about that stuff. But we're here.
You never know.
Yeah, I know. We're here talking about some VR, and as I put on like Twitter and stuff. When it comes to, and especially like we had a huge podcast, not huge, we just talked a lot of crap last podcast about the VR awards, and like I mentioned, like you should have been like, were you nominated by chance?
No, I got nothing on that.
Yeah. And that's what really bugs me because on Twitter, you are probably, and someone can quote me and change my mind on this, but you will probably take VR to the most extreme. Do you not think that anyone else goes as far as the treadmill to the B-haptics vest to the Olin gun stock?
Yeah. I mean, no. I'm not shy. I'm confident enough to say, yeah. That's what I've liked about VR, right? It's like the physicality of it. It's kind of why I got into it, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like COVID hit, and I usually would take my guns and go out, and I was actually trying to get into like 3-gun competitions. I think we talked about that
we did.
On the last cast, but like COVID hit, right? And like there's this was a little pre-COVID, but like things were still getting bad in terms of like ammo prices and all that. So I had my index from launch, and Pavlov drew me in, of course. And just being able to feel it again, right? And not go broke buying ammo and going out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of started getting me into it, and then I just kind of fell in deep as we do.
Yeah, and you're also live on TikTok now, right?
Yeah, well, so I've been doing it. I've been doing the new meta. Seems to be like I'm going live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, which is a lot to manage. And some people say don't do that, but I disagree.
I disagree too because you know who else is doing that? Ninja.
Well, sure, yeah. But a lot of them are, right? Like a lot of big people started, and my thought process towards it. And I'm not good at this yet, and this is probably why I don't get into like game award stuff, and I don't really expect that at this point. Like I'm not popular across the board, plus I'm not consistent. Like I've got my job, my day job, my family, and all that.
So makes sense. Yeah,
it's not like I'm putting videos out every week. I would love to, and I'm working on it, but like it's just my content's not super consistent. Yeah, exactly. So besides my streams, that's the only thing I've been trying to keep strong this whole time. But
yeah. So yeah, it is a very interesting dynamic, and VR just alone is just, if you don't get a niche, then people aren't going to watch you. If you only play Population 1, or you only play Pavlov, or you only play Contractors, and that's what you play, and you stream, you're good at it, you might get that small group of people watching you, which is maybe 10 to 25 at a time. But what you're doing is, like, for instance, if people don't know that, and you should definitely go check out his content, is you were getting like shot by an airsoft gun, or is that what?
It's a vibrant. It's like a little motor that sits in his chest pieces.
No, do you want me to show it to you? Hang on.
Yeah.
I'll actually explain. This is like I'm not a particularly smart guy, but I find like dumb ways to do smart things. I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean.
So why he gets that? Basically, he engages more than the average influencer when it comes to VR to actually get people to like it and get involved in it. And the cool thing about it is he's getting people that typically wouldn't watch VR, and that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, so this was actually kind of what I think my initial thought process was on in terms of like streaming everywhere, right? Like, so like the way that I'm trying to approach it, and I'm really trying to get better at it. I'm just slow at making these changes and actually like keeping it going. But like I think all three, obviously being the same stream, should all be different experiences, right? Like, so Twitch is kind of the quintessential Twitch experiment or experience. A lot of chat integration, a lot of stuff like that going on. Like YouTube, I kind of wanted to be like my more clean output, right? Like if someone wants to watch a no bullshit stream without shit popping up all over the screen, that's the good reason to be multi-streaming to YouTube, right? And then TikTok, you obviously got to be a bit more memey with it, right? To keep people in, because everybody on TikTok's just scrolling everywhere. Scrolling. So my idea was,
it really is.
So my idea was, and of course people are like, oh, you should do this. I get comments where it's like, oh, you should get shot with a paintball gun when you're playing VR. And it's, well, I'm not going to do that. But I was like, okay, well, we can start with a Nerf gun. Yeah. And I've done a couple iterations of these because I found the darts get jammed too much. But I picked up, this isn't even Nerf brand. This is like Walmart Adventure Force. But, well, I was going with cheap ones because I was taking them apart. And so what I did, this is my dumb smart way that I accomplished this, I think. So I wanted it to be smart, right? I wanted it to be basically web enabled. So like I can go on IFTTT, and like when a certain type of gift on TikTok comes through, this will shoot me. And I wanted to make sure that it would only shoot like a certain amount, right? And the least amount of failure, because I can't keep getting off the treadmill and fixing it. But so I don't know if you guys have seen these. Oh God, this is gonna be tough.
We saw it when you're a little farther away, right there. There we go.
This thing right here is a switch bot.
Okay.
Oh my.
I actually have one that automates my desk standing and lowering when I switch scenes. But all it does is it's just a little lever that comes off of this little smart enabled bot, right? Yeah. And it just presses a button. Yeah. So like people use it for light switches and all that. So like I literally just got this. I got it hooked up on IFTTT, and there's a way to have my like I basically set up a webhook so that whenever a certain gift comes in from TikTok, it'll trigger the IFTTT thing. This presses the button for a set amount of time. I have it like 0.5 seconds so that it revs up just enough.
Yeah.
But in order to accomplish that, the last part of this was I was going with cheap ones because I had to take them apart, because they all usually have a rev, right? So you hold one trigger to get it to rev, and then you have to hold the other trigger down and keep it going, but that's loud. So I had to wire both of those together, and I put my own button on there. So now it's like just by pressing it.
Yeah.
You can't see them flying around the room, but yeah. So I just pressed this one button.
I could hear. I didn't even hear it.
I heard it.
Oh, did you?
It's a small whiz.
Yeah, maybe that was. I heard it. Like that was about it.
Well, the only shitty part about switching from darts to these ball things is these come out way faster, and they hurt. Like, well, the first mistake I made, and this wasn't even on purpose, but it was, it was good for content at that point. But like, what the fuck? I was playing Bone Lab, and so I didn't. In Bone Lab, you get to the part where you got to be in a go-kart. So
oh my god, yeah.
People have had such good timing, but like I didn't even think about this possibility because like, I didn't even think about sitting down. So I have it aimed a certain way, so it's not going to hit my dick and it's not going to hit my throat, right? I want it to hit me in the chest.
Sat down, you were getting hit in the throat. I sat down
and I got almost, but I just got smoked in the face by like 2 or 3 of these, and I was like, oh, okay, well that got me.
That's
good.
hilarious.
Myself.
You can't be mad. You can't.
I wasn't mad. It was pretty good.
You know what you need to do though, and you can have this as a prize on your TikTok to get more people engaged. And to buy it is that if they hit it off, you have a cup in front of you in a weird position, and if they make it in the cup, they win a reward.
So actually, I have a spin on that. I've already thought of this, and I want to do it. So having a cup in front of me and stuff is kind of tough, but right with the catwalk, I strap into it, and there's like that back plate. So having like a target on there or like something they could try to land in. That was, so I was thinking the same thing you're thinking. But.
So like you hit the guy in the water tub. And if you hit the thing, you fall into the tub type shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I want to expand on it. Some of it's like hard, right? Like I actually wanted to connect it to like Twitch subs. Be like, oh, you sub, it'll shoot at me, right?
Fire a few, yeah.
But there's no good way to like hook that up. And I'm not a developer by any means. Like I just kind of wing it and I look up stuff. But like there doesn't seem to be a way to connect it the same way to Twitch subs. So I'm still struggling with that. But we'll see what I can do with it. Maybe I'll add another gun at some point.
Or you'll find some whiz person out there that'll just give you some .exe.
Some ideas,
But hey, the best thing you can do is like maybe like I always like messaging Reddit, really famous people to see if they'll message me back. Just like dumb shit, like hey, you want to like talk or like do something with this or that. And so right now, Mr. Beast just got a deal with Nerf with those little gel blasters. And so maybe you can reach out to him and be like, here's my content. I want to use Mr. Beast's Gel Blaster on my stream. And that the worst thing is he doesn't message you back or he says no.
That's true. I mean, and it's a good way to make connections. But I mean, I not at that scale. I don't know about Mr. Beast, responding to me. I like the idea that it might happen, but
you miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Exactly.
That's very true.
Exactly.
I mean, I do that with other companies, right? Like I've done it with Pimax. They never got back to me, but like, that's what I'll usually do is if I see new stuff coming up, I'll reach out to people. And sometimes that's gotten me some deals. So that's lucky. Nice, but yeah.
Olin VR asked, what is a jBahr?
Shut up, Olin.
So one thing I do want to get into is that on the 10th you had a charity event. You want to go into that?
Yeah, so that was actually my 4th charity event for the year. So how it kind of went is a little over a year ago. There's a company out there called Soft Giving, and they partner with these streamers, and they had actually contacted me, and they're like, hey, do you want to do like a one-off like a charity event thing? And basically they're like, you get this list of 10 different charities, and then this is all that happens. Like they provide like $100 prize, and it's usually a selection of a few things, and then they say like I provide a prize for like top donor, and then like they have their own rules. Like there's like milestones if you hit a certain dollar amount. So they contacted me a ways back, and we did one of those. And that one just did well, I think. And then they reached back out to me, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Like, do you want to do like a contract type deal?" And they give me money. I think it's like $150 per that stream, which is nice, right? Like that, and that, like, nothing I asked for, but just something they offered. So I was like, all right, seems good. And like, I like the ideas of the charity streams. It's always like an excuse to kind of have like a weekend stream and do something a bit longer and just something a little different. So I decided to sign that with them, and the deal was basically for one stream per quarter. And so we did that all year. So this was our fourth one. We were supporting Games for Love, which does they basically set up, like those like console like wheel in cart things, or like game setups for kids in hospitals. Like
that's quality. Yeah,
it's like North America and a couple different countries, right? So like, and I've always picked like the gaming related ones because they give me a list, and like I had my like Discord vote too on like which ones they like the most. And like the gaming related ones are like the ones that resonate probably with all of us, right? Like it just
for sure
it gets rid of the stress, lets you take your mind off stuff, and just hospitals are probably boring. So so like we were supporting that one, and I think this time we made about $800 that was donated directly to it, which is nice. But the cool thing about the soft giving deal is they also match it, so that's that 800 is 1600, so
awesome.
Question for you. So can people just donate to these charities by themselves, like, or like does it okay, yeah.
So it's a link, right?
Yeah, so gamesforlove.com is like the main charity, but like Soft Giving is just like the intermediary company that basically works with streamers to set up like the overlays and stuff, and like they're just partnered with all these different charities, so they just facilitate getting the money there. Like none of it touches me, right? So like it's just I disable all my donation links, and then I just basically route people to that link for them, and then they still get alerts on my stream and all that, and that's all from Soft Giving, but they make sure all the money gets doubled and
I didn't get to tune in, but did you have somebody stream with you, or did you stream solo on like some other games and stuff?
I did it my own. So I've done most of my own, but my mods are super good. Like they just kind of help out, which is nice, and I don't pay them, so they don't have to, but they do it anyway. but yeah, we we just kind of handle it, and it usually goes pretty slick. Like most of the people that come into my streams, like the community's been pretty solid. So
and then so you had a teammate that used the same one, right?
Use the same what?
Who's the one? Why can't I think of his name? He does all the speed running.
Oh, Blitz.
Yeah, Blitz did some charity back for Population 1 for a while. I think him and his like brother did it, and it was something similar to the same format of giving to children for games and stuff like that.
It should be better.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there, but yeah, I think I remember him doing something like that too.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's good. Hey, $1,600 is better than nothing, and that's still that's a $1,600 can go a long way when it comes to if they already have consoles, getting putting a new game in a kid's hands, or even putting a couple Nintendo Switches, because it's like these kids in the hospital, the smaller the better with the handheld, so they're probably gonna get some Switch console, something like that.
They got those nimble fingers, man. Those Switches are great.
Dude, yeah, they're freaking huge though. They're like, I had the thing was like this long. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, I think they it seems like they do a lot of them, but it was a cool cause, and like every one of these charities too, I've been pretty lucky because I kind of reach out to a lot of the brands I typically work with, like Olin VR. Has been super awesome. He's given a spine pretty much each one of these charities. We've given one of those away because when I do these charity events to help bring people in to see if we get more donations and stuff, it's just nice to have giveaways happen at the same time.
If possible, next charity stream, hit me up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm super down for anything. We normally get a good amount of stuff, so like and more the merrier usually, because then I can just constantly give away shit and people like it. So like. Yeah, I know this one we gave away. I got 5 Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 keys that were sent to me that we gave away. We gave away this time a low pro from Olin VR, the new stock, which I haven't tried yet. New stock,
yes, I want to try that.
Is he still in the chat? He keeps saying he's going to send it to me, but I don't got it yet, so I don't know where it is. But
I wonder if he'll ever talk about the design and talk about it. I'm not going to go any more details because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to tease him.
Yeah.
But the Low Pro is a pretty cool design. It's made for games like, I would say, Contractors and the new game Breachers. It's more for that close range where you get to hurry up and load quicker than possible. It's just the other one. It's a good one for like Onward, where you have the time where you're sitting there being patient and stuff like that. And he says the Low Pro doesn't exist. Yes, it does. I hope so, because it's in my giveaway for Havoc right now.
Right.
Gosh dang it, Owen.
But yeah, when you do a giveaway, let me know. I'll throw some Havoc merch into it.
Sure, man. Yeah, and I think the other big one we had Mr. Tass at Etsy Shop. I don't know if you ever talked with Mr. Tass. He's got some cool stuff. Really? But then, I've also got a deal, kind of an ongoing thing, with Kiwi Design, and they threw in like a Quest Elite strap with battery thing. So
yeah, I've heard of Kiwi because Mateo 311 has he works with him as well, so I watch his videos. They talk about him. But I got Mr. Ruck Up though. I use his head strap.
Yeah. I'll look at that.
But so with the incoming, the world's coming to an end. Let's put it that way. With 2022 coming, and I also, by the way, I want to talk about this. I'm looking at it right now. I went into Best Buy the other day to buy some gifts for some family members, and I just walked up to the back console area, and I go, "You guys got any PlayStation 5s? Because I want to eventually get the PlayStation, the PSVR 2, and they go, PlayStation 5? I go, yeah, you guys got any? I know you guys don't have them back here. And they go, actually, we just had 10 that just came in an hour ago.
Oh, so
I go sold. And so
did you buy 10 of them?
No, I didn't. I know I'm not. See, that's the thing about me. I could have been that asshole and just ruined some kid's Christmas because they had to buy it for me for $1,000. No, I'm just like, no, I took my one, and, because
scalpers kill me, man. Dude, I hate scalpers.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and so I took my one, and so now I'm gonna wait until the PSVR 2 comes out. Let the first software happen. Let people work out the kinks, and then I'm gonna buy it.
I just my gripe. Well, I shouldn't say gripe. My concern, right? Like, so I've been a PC gamer the majority of my life, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, I stopped playing consoles since like PlayStation 2, really. Like, I've always been, especially,
I started on PS2 and then I switched to Xbox 360. And
I must be a little. How old are you, Kuss? I'm probably a little older than you.
24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
you're older than me, right? I appreciated Xbox was because when I deployed, my Xbox One came with me. That thing saw 6 different countries. So I mean, hell, man.
The Xbox One, man, was a tank. Like, I mean, like, I mean, like, I've been the PC master race, like, for most of my life. But the only concern I have with PSVR 2 is I think it's going to be awesome. I think they're going to have great exclusives, but I think there's going to be like 3, right? And then, like, for me, because I don't currently have a PS5 and really no ambition to get one, PSVR 2 looks great, but like buying that plus PSVR 2, which is more expensive than the PS5,
$600. Right? It's the same price if you buy the disc version.
Yeah, so so that's still like very like niche marketing, right? Like, because that's like you're literally trying to get you're pushing your VR stuff that's more expensive than your actual like entire console. And how many games are there actually going to be of substance?
So
right? Like,
here,
other ones coming in, right, that aren't exclusives, but the exclusives is what's going to make it.
So this is why I got it, because the lovely of me doing this podcast, I get the ins and the outs of who is possibly coming to PSVR 2. So Veil is for sure coming.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost of jBahr for sure coming. Yeah. Breachers is I still have to talk to them, but why not? Well, they're coming. They released a game in alpha where I was disappointed because it wasn't alpha. That's the only disappointing thing that pissed me off.
What do you mean?
It needed to be launched. It's like, I know you guys are, by the time, because they're not launching it until next year, but the game is so well built. I'm just like, this is an average game put out today. And that's fun.
Which game are we talking about?
The Breachers, the game you haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, when you get it and it's
I'm
on
jealous.
PCVR,
I'm jealous that it came out on Quest or on Oculus. I want it on PSVR, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's not on Quest. You still have to go to side quest and you have to download the KPC file, whatever the K. You have to download all these damn files and it's not even on it. You have to side load it.
Still playable only on Quest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, right, with PSVR 2, like, I'm not concerned with the games I can already play. Like, I'm concerned what they're going to come out with that I can only play on PSVR 2, right? And I just think, like, because that's probably where they'll shine, right? Because they'll be able to do all of their own proprietary shit, making their own games, right, for their own entire setup. But like when you can port breaches over, but it's not going to look any better than my index does, right? So I want to see more of PSVR 2 before I'm convinced to try to dive into that.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you on that but if you look at the world of VR right now, there is nothing better than the index.
Yeah, the Pimax is the only visually.
If you want to spend $4 freaking grand on a freaking VR headset,
I got you. Wait, hold on. Before you put me on a stake here, I mean, Pimax is the best visually looking, but it's expensive. And then you got Quest, which is all right, but it doesn't have the hardware capabilities of Index.
The new update, though. I don't know if you guys. There's a new update that if you go out, watch Mateo 311's new video of the update, and it's a good little spiel about it. I'm not going to talk about it because I haven't watched too much into it. All I know is that there's been, by the time that I was uploading and creating this this YouTube live, I found 3 people that I've already made videos saying how amazing the new update and how it's changing, how it made a big change.
Hopefully they've learned from their community talking shit on their software, because honestly, their software is very, like failing on them, and it sucks. Some people, I don't want to see Quest fail because of the company. I want to see it thrive for like just the VR community in the whole. Because once it thrives for the community as a whole, it's going to bring up, all the other communities like, Valve Index and other people.
It's already been released that by 2025, the Oculus will come out with 5 new headsets.
That's ridiculous, but
I think they're trying to go with the Apple model where they just start pumping them out every year.
Well, I saw something interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kuss.
It's gonna get killed. I can, just like iPhones.
Because I think Zuckerberg needs to release his hands off of Quest's throat and give Quest. You how I said Quest? You see how I just said Quest?
Yeah.
Give back the damn name.
I saw on Twitter, I think it was like yesterday, like Palmer Luckey, the guy that started Oculus. He made, I don't know if he's baiting people or what, but he replied to someone posting about just posting about Oculus, right? Like they're just talking about Oculus instead of Meta, and I don't know, he basically was alluding to being able to pick the brand Oculus back up and start like basically restarting that company since Meta's moving away from the name, right? So
yeah,
sounds like he might try to get back into it.
He could acquire the company name again and continue the legacy.
That's what he's suggesting.
As long as he didn't sign a no compete.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. He could be baiting, right? Or it just could be, something else. But he was hinting at that.
For him.
It sounds like he regrets his freaking
He's already
decision.
built one company. He made a bunch of money. He could build another company, just not the same way,
Well, I think he's popular enough where he knows people will be right on, like they'll be all over it, right? So it'll be interesting. I did this might be interesting to talk about. This is a risky one for me, but I did join the Kickstarter for the Pimax Portal. You guys saw that?
Well, I haven't heard about that.
You haven't seen any of this?
Okay.
No.
Well, this will take too long to fully describe, so you need to look it up after this. The Pimax Frontier thing. So Pimax Portal is Pimax's next thing. So Pimax did their Frontier thing, and which is like their event where they announced shit, right? And everyone was expecting a lot of information on the Crystal, and they talked about the Crystal, which is like their next standalone. Like that one actually looks really good, but also prosumer, not consumer, right? So it's just pretty expensive. So, the Pimax Portal. So imagine like a Switch, right? Imagine like a Nintendo Switch Android gaming thing, right? It's capable of like your PC streaming. It's capable of full on just any Android games. It's capable of all that. The controller sides even come off via magnets actually on this one.
Oh.
And they have shells for a VR headset. And so think Google Cardboard, but maybe better. We don't know yet. But it slides into the VR headset. It slides into the VR like shell headset, and you snap it in, and then it becomes a VR gaming device. Like, and they're claiming that it can play like VR games. You can connect to your PC. I know.
I don't think it's gonna be as good as like PC VR.
Well,
if they do that, Steam Deck has a good possibility of doing that too, though.
So Steam Deck can run VR. It has been proven. I've seen videos.
Steam Deck was like Valve's like kind of like, so they're doing the Steam Deck thing, but I think even Gaben talked about learning some things from the Steam Deck that they're applying to like the Deckard, right? That's
the Deckard.
Come out.
So, supposedly, yeah.
But the Portal, so this is it's a sketchy one. I normally would never do this, but like I've got some stream money because I've been sitting there and I've been waiting for like the next. I've been basically waiting for the Deckard to come out, right? Because I wanted that, but like I'm like it's gonna be a little bit. So I decided to go in on this, which is before I know enough information. Normally I don't jump in like this, but I figured at least it's good content, right? To like at least get and review for people and see what it's like. And at the worst case, I end up with some sort of handheld I can maybe play every now and then when I want to. Because I don't got a Steam Deck.
Or gift it.
But what do they run off of? Like their own library?
So Pimax has its library, right? And like it has its way of connecting with other games. I don't even fully understand the Pimax ecosystem because I've never used one of their headsets or their software.
Yeah,
but
I've only known one person that used it.
But
I'm pretty sure
people
it's
in videos
to like Oculus.
Yeah, so a lot of their videos, this is part of the problem, right? Is they're not showing a ton yet of what the VR gameplay looks like, but there are videos of and they're in Europe touring right now with it, and there's videos of people using the headset and saying like pixel density and resolution is basically like the Quest 2, maybe slightly sharper. Yeah. So like, I don't expect it to be a replacement for my Index, but like if it's like literally like they call it a metaverse device because it's supposed to be you can game several different ways, right, wherever you are. Yeah. So like you could say you got the Switch mode, you got the VR mode, and then they also do a 3DOF, like almost like a Kinect gaming mode, right, where there's like a thing that you put below your TV, and then say you have the controllers in your hands, no headset, but you can do things like aim and shoot a gun.
Okay, like an AR kind of.
You'd expect something like this to come out from Nintendo, right? Like something just kind of off the wall.
Yeah, definitely Nintendo.
so my thought on
it's like the Wii. It's like playing the Wii, but with interactable controllers that are a little more smart. I don't know. I think
gonna either
Olin's
be amazing or incredibly mediocre.
Yeah, I think Olin's right. We need games that are A+, to jump the market because VR is kind of stagnant, unfortunately.
But here's the thing: A+ is like what we heard from the past devs. Is A+ just means how much money the studio makes. Yeah. We already have good games out there. It's the fact that all these people are like, hey, we need more games. We need better games. No, it's like maybe we just need one studio that makes one good game and everyone plays it. It's like you hear how many first-person shooters are out there?
I mean, look at Xbox, right? Xbox 360 thrived off of its variety. It wasn't, just the station alone, which was great. Xbox 360 was a great station, and so was PS3. But PS3 failed in the fact that it didn't have much variety, and everybody was buying Xbox 360s because it had all the console exclusives, and it had like a bunch of basic games just put out like run of the mill. So I mean, like, I think it depends. I think yes, you are right in the aspect of we need more people to play games, but I think also we need a better variety because we have fighting games, shooting games, and puzzle games. I think that's the most VR has. I don't think it.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just still don't. I mean, I think it's easy to lose sight being in VR for so long, right? Of like still how young it is in a lot of ways. Especially where like everybody is at this point. And I'm talking about all the companies and people putting hardware into it. Like, right. Like there's some companies way ahead and some companies that are like just trying to get in and figuring it out. So it's like, it's really like the type of games we get are across the board, right? Like I do find it incredibly sad that we don't have another game that really stands up to like Half-Life Alyx, right? In terms of like a campaign.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Half-Life Alyx is beautiful.
Incredibly well done, right? We haven't really gotten that level again, right? And like my frustration with like the idea of like AAA games coming in is like, right, we had Medal of Honor, we had Sniper Elite, both were incredible amounts of trash when they first came out. So like Sniper Elite was probably the first VR game I played that made me like rage quit a couple of streams just because of how it was just buggy. It was just fucking buggy. So I was like, whatever. But and like I heard they got better, but like like there's just a lot of these studios, even the big ones, that are learning. And I think that there's a lot out there that are not only learning but waiting before they try to like throw something out there, right? Because we're limited by hardware, right? Like especially with this next generation of headsets coming out, I think that's going to end up creating the better game boom, right? Because you get more foveated rendering, you get more, you just get more capable, like Qualcomm is like, they're doing all these like VR specific chips now, and like their XR2 Plus and stuff going to be that's in the Meta Quest Pro, and like they're working with other companies, and we have Lenovo Legion throwing out a standalone headset soon, right? And we have there's that like the Magnus X one.
I think that's where I think VR starting to get its like boom phase where it's like, it's starting to get a little more popular, a little less expensive, because VR, as general, a Valve Index is $1,000 if you want one of the best headsets out there. Meanwhile, the Quest 2 is like what, 400 for the basic models.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we're starting to get there where there's variety in, hardware. I think it's software. It's like, it's rather lacking. I think we have a lot of, a good basic set, and then, a lot of, I think 50% of VR is like community driven content. Like look at Pavlov. Pavlov is notoriously almost all, community driven. And so is like, what's the VR chat, all community driven just about, and I think we don't have, massive, or not massive, but like companies that, generate content that's usable on different games,
So here's my opinion on this, is that, and one, it's kind of shame on VR as a whole, is because it's like there's always that saying that history will always repeat itself. You've always heard that. But it's like we've already seen the console wars of Xbox and PlayStation, and then you got PC, who in my opinion is just sitting there laughing at the console people, just shitting on each other for no freaking reason. But the one thing throughout the years that they all learned is that these exclusives that they are doing and all that does nothing to help promote larger community, larger player base, and all that. And so what VR is doing right now is what early 2000s,
early PC,
early 2000 Xbox and PlayStation, when they first came out, it's just like you either had to have this to play this game, or you had to do this. Like people that play Halo, guess what? You only get an Xbox, and that's what you do.
I think a lot of companies are going to learn from, like, the failures of console wars. Was that, yes, you got a lot of purchasing for your content alone, but you also lost a lot of sales on the opposite ends, because like look at Xbox 360. Xbox 360 had a lot of, solo content was for Xbox 360. And then when they upped the generation, they lost a ton of players due to, the fact that PS5 had better, singles, like they had better,
and that's why, like, and now if you look at the new generation, it doesn't matter what console you have. It really doesn't. They're all,
it matters all it matters is the software. And I think, if VR companies learn that, and
that's what I'm saying, is that they're not. They didn't look at the model and be like, pretty much what the console war did is give anyone in the future, here is a playbook for dummies of like not how to do a whole generation
it's
of
a learning
wars.
experience.
You have Pico, you have HTC Vive, you have Oculus, you have the PS VR, PS the 5 freaking coming out on PC VR. It's just like all these fucking headsets coming out, and it's just like, let's just all have our own libraries, let's have our own games, and it's like, why is our player base, our retention on this only 50 to 100 players every week?
Yeah, Ruckup said, wait 2 years. It'll be an entirely different ballgame.
No, it will be.
Right.
It's
sure.
100%.
Right.
Within a year, when the Quest 3 drops next year, it's going to revolutionize VR. I think that's really going to be a big turning on.
Maybe.
Because the reason why I say that is because it's going to be the first time a Quest will actually be able to play PC VR games. And I think that's the direction. If Quest wants to get out of the hole they're in now to make meta better again, they're going to have to make a headset that is powerful enough that won't overheat and won't drop and still play a really good 120 frame rate PC VR game.
What do you think, jBahr? He's been sitting silent back there.
Because he's stewing. He's got his brain. His mustache thinks for him.
Yeah, most of the time. No, I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, I think it all is a yes, right? Like, so around the time that I'm expecting when Quest 3 comes out, like, we're going to be seeing a lot more about a lot of these other headsets that we've heard about, and probably a lot more about headsets that we haven't heard about yet, right? So, like, I think there's a lot of people jumping into the game probably within the next couple of years, mainly because they've been waiting for the right time. But, like, all it takes is Call of Duty to come out with a VR game, right? Or a VR mode for their main game, right? So, like, that's all it takes is that to happen, and then you better believe you'd have one game where most people in VR are on it, right?
I mean, we kind of had like a Call of Duty-esque. What was the the World War II one that came out that was kind
of. Well, that was Medal of Honor, right?
Yeah, that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's Call of Duty-esque, but you know.
It is, but like, and I'm talking like they would have to do it right. But like if just Call of Duty, literally the IP came out with it, like people would be everywhere. All
it would be huge.
You know? But my hope is the reason that we haven't seen it is because they're not rushing it, right? And they're waiting until the hardware is right. Because like a lot of it's going to be timing. Like I'd rather have less games now, if it means like
that's what I was laughing
at. within the next couple of years, of having just really like those really quality like. And I'm always thinking of like the multiplayer competitive stuff because I like that stuff. But like again, and even like again, a legit Call of Duty VR campaign would just blow people away if it was done right. So
it would.
My hope is, classic COD. Like what is it? MW1 or MW2?
MW2. Well, and not in a way that babies you, right? Like especially a lot of the bigger companies when they come out, like and especially with their campaigns, they'll come out and because it's VR, they expect people to be a lot less capable, and they just kind of. They like dumb a lot of things down, right? Like I'd like to see it. VR's got to mature still, and people got to get more used to it still.
Yeah, Medal of Honor kind of dumbed it the hell down. Like it was,
bit, yeah.
They wouldn't let you, learn the guns. You got like a hey, do this, hey, do this. You would. They didn't Pavlov you. They didn't just throw you in and like, hey, learn your gun mechanics.
Like an initial tutorial is always good, right? But yeah, like actually like just then letting people like go off with it, and kind of figure it out and like make it hard so that people like. Get better at it and have to do it because otherwise it just feels like you're at an arcade, right? And playing like one of those one-off games. Like if a game's really just walking you through the whole thing. Yeah. So like you can just you can initially do the tutorial stuff, but like once someone gets into it, like just let them into it and really open it up and like the play to the strengths of VR, which is how mechanical it could be, right? And like and the fact that you are now the main character and you have to do all the shit to get things to happen, right? So like I don't like that like auto reload stuff and all that. Like it's like, just make people do the work and they'll fall more in love with it because like that's not something they can get with a PC game. I can hit a button on my keyboard and reload in Counter-Strike, but if I have to do 4 or 5 different physical actions in VR, right, I'm going to be more immersed and that's literally the point of why it draws so many people in.
That's why I'm so excited for, like Breachers and the Tabor, Escape from Tabor. I'm excited for that. I want an Escape from Tarkov that's like VR, and that's exactly what I got. I'm like,
Tarkov is a wonderful concept for VR, and I do think that game will do well. It's been a while since I've been back on it. Yeah, Tabor. So, yeah, I was playing it a little while back. I got to get back in because I know they've been updating it a lot. But it's once they get a bit more down the road with the development, like it's gonna be.
I got so scared in that game because they come yelling at you in a different language.
Oh, dude, those are funny.
And I threw my damn gun, and I'm just like, shit, I just lost my gun. So I've been playing the Quest version for them, and I've punched my ground a couple times so far.
Oh, there you
go. So I've been jump scared where I'm like, oh motherfucker, like, and I've tapped a few times into the AI, but nothing like falling on the floor.
But that's the great stuff, right? Like I mean, like that's like the rush that I like getting from VR games, and it's not like you have to play a scary game to do it, but like you can get that kind of visceral response, right, from a suspenseful like shooter game, right? Like Ghost of Tabor, and like that's honestly where like the gold is, in my opinion. And
I am so excited to be shaking from adrenaline after like shots ringing by my head. And welcome VR Central and Raid. What's going on?
Wise. Yeah. So I'm very excited for some of the games coming up, and it has been a lull. And
what's your biggest game for next year? Do you think it's going to be?
That's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, like honestly, Tabor's been one that I can see being really good down the road, right? Like it's janky right now, which is normal because they're not even released yet, but. I can see that one being a pretty big deal down the road. These aren't new games coming out, but I am exciting for more games that are developing like matchmaking, right? Like I don't think it's going to save Pavlov competitive, but like actually having like a full-on matchmaking system makes it feel more mature. It makes it feel like a game that you'd get from a like a bigger company. So I'm excited for those kind of things, and my mind's always kind of on the competitive ones and kind of keeping an eye on that scene. And
what's your next competitive scene? I know you're doing VRML and VREL for Pavlov, but what other games or
have you played Veil yet?
Anything else?
Yep, I've been into Veil for a while. I wasn't playing it a ton. I got in like way early on in their early alphas, and actually now I've been scrimming with the Homeland team because the Homeland team kind of broke apart a little bit after the most recent tournament.
Yeah.
So
it's hard here, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't a part of that, but they you know, a few of the main guys are there. So I've been kind of hopping over there and working with them and kind of IGLing a bit. Because that's what I did in my Counter-Strike days, was I ran a couple of teams and I was always kind of IGL and all that stuff, which is fun.
How much are your teams left? Like, what's your rosters like
For Homeland?
Yeah, for Homeland.
Yeah, because we still got a full one for Pavlov. I mean, Homeland. I mean, so we got like 5 or 6 of us for sure now, kind of. And that just depends. I'm still kind of in limbo, right, between like Vale and Pavlov. I really like Vale. I really like what they're doing with it, because I think that they're the only competitive shooter actually like pushing VR esports, which is going to make others jump in. But like, again, mainly because I'm just such a Counter-Strike fanboy that like Pavlov is just such a more interesting competitive scene for me. And again, Vale's great. Vale's also very simple, and not in a bad way, but like there's no economy to manage, right? Like you don't have to care later on in a round what you do.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah.
You can always just rush in a 1v1 at the end of a round, because it doesn't matter if you lose your equipment, it doesn't matter if you lose your money. It's pretty much like full send it all the time.
Headshot.
Yeah.
Which is fun for VR. But for me, like I really like just like the feeling, the way that you shoot and all that in Pavlov, and a little bit more of the strategy. Because again, that just harkens back to
I do think Vale does great in its, arcade likeness. And then Pavlov, you're right, it does take a lot more strategy. One Pavlov capped into another,
Well, and it's a higher skill ceiling in terms of the shooting. And that's what I've always liked. That's why I've liked Counter-Strike, right? Versus games like Call
I don't
of Duty,
like how random the spray pattern is.
Did you hear? Did you hear what they're bringing?
In real life. Go ahead.
Did you hear what they're bringing?
What?
Jetpacks.
And wait.
To Vale.
Oh, I was like, Vale.
Okay. I'm not gonna knock it yet. I'll wait till it comes out, but I don't think that's necessary. But Pavlov, though, I don't like the recoil system.
Really?
I shoot,
I love it.
I'm a soldier. I shoot M4s in real life. It doesn't shoot anything like that full auto.
Dude, I mean, that's why I stopped playing Contractors. They added a jump in every other bullet, and it's just like, that's not real. You guys are doing this because people were literally breaking how you wanted the people to play the game, and they got too good. It's like during our season, I think season 1 of VREL, they're just like, which is funny because they had like a full team that came from like the development team for Contractors. And they're like, yeah, we've probably been testing this in alpha stage. You guys can maybe get a week for beta, but we're doing this change. And it's like all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I wonder why you guys are so much better than us. You got to test this system and in and out on how the recoil is going to work for probably weeks before you even gave it to us.
And honestly, don't get me wrong, I like Pavlov's like combat. I really do. But you're as Barry said, realism doesn't equal good. So I mean, you're right in certain Barry's right in certain aspects, but I prefer something that's a little more, like not all the same all the time, but I want some variability into the recoil pattern, because in real life, all rounds aren't loaded the same with the same amount of gunpowder, and like the recoil is different with each shot taken. So like I feel like it deserves a little bit of randomness, not entirely like off into the ceiling, but a little bit of random.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And it's it's kind of the, different strokes for different folks type thing. Because like I started actually the first thing I did with Homeland and how I kind of got in hanging out with those guys a bit more and doing the Pavlov thing was we set up a team for a Onward tournament. And like that's how I kind of started with them. And I like Onward.
I also like Onward.
I like Onward, but competitively, I personally am like, it's not my type of thing, because it's just such a low time to kill, right? Like I do like having such like a high skill ceiling being left in like in how you understand the guns and recoil patterns and all that.
I'm so good at Onward. I love going into lobbies and sniping because like I for my unit, for my military stuff, I'm actually like the best shot. Like I'm the designated marksman. So I get like all the cool snipers and stuff if I wanted to. Like I could go to sniper school, but I haven't done it because I'm lazy and then like military stuff. But I have like the real in life skill, and then it literally transfers. Like it's 1-to-1 just about, and that's awesome to me.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense, and I like it. Like, I mean, I popped on Onward in like the middle of the night with some buddies, right? Like, and that was when I would, I'd use my Quest 2 just because then we'd all be on Quest, and like, you're sitting in your living room, laying on the floor, like yelling at people, and that like Onward's a lot of fun for those things. But yeah, competitively, Pavlov's always been my style. But I'm
honestly, I love Pavlov's time to kill. Like, you can get a 3-piece in like a minute and a half in the start of the game, and when a whole team pushes you down.
Just hitting good shots is more satisfying. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. Like contractors, like I find contractors pretty fun and satisfying, right? Like I like the headshot sound of contractors. Like that's like, it's just like super like crunchy, and like it's just got a really good sound to it. I know maybe that's like a psychopathic thing to say, but like it is. It's just satisfying, right? So like you hit the headshot, you fucking know you hit it. You keep running and shooting. Like it's just good. But like Pavlov, like that's probably what it is for me. I think is just when you do hit the shots that you're supposed to hit, knowing that it's that much harder, it's just that much more satisfying. You get that extra like boost from it, But they're all great. Like I want to see a lot of them like push the esport thing a bit forward, kind of like Vale's doing. Yeah. I
would love Pavlov to have its own like VR stuff, because it's with the devs pushing you guys, it kind of sets your community out from others, and it helps viewership and maybe the tournament get better sponsorships.
Well, Pavlov's dev doesn't care about esports. Contractors, devs really don't care about esports. The Vale team cares about esports. Though.
It's unfortunate, and the community drives it as much as possible. But you could get a better drive when the devs are behind you.
Yeah,
because you get the ability. The biggest thing when it comes to esports is not the devs pushing it, it's what they give for tools to put it on the main screen. And so, like, I'm going to talk on Breachers again because, like I said, they've been doing such a good job. But when Breachers comes out, they already have a tool for casting that is going to be revolutionize how people see casting in VR. Like, you can see health, you can see the gadgets they're using, you can see, like, positioning, because it's a 3-story building, the positioning, how they're probably going to go into the building, when things blow up. It's like they have a whole entire array of stats that are happening on screen to make the game, because you can't, it's 3 stories. There's no way you're going to follow around the whole team because there's people doing all their own stuff. And so that's the biggest thing. It's like that's one of the things why Larsenauts fell, is because Larsenauts was a good hero shooter game, but it's like, where's the esports? There was like no way to do single matchmaking to get team versus team.
Their launch was also a mess. They hurt themselves pretty bad at launch. I bought the game and I tried to play it on my index day one, and it just didn't work for like a month. And so I returned it right away and waited, and I didn't even go back because it took them a month to just make it work on one of the headsets.
Yeah, they're making good leaps now. I mean, it's still like a decent game, but it's like they said like 6 months ago, like they're going to push out tools to do esports, and I was like, oh, like you said this a year ago. So I went and played a little bit, getting ready for it, and it still didn't release. And so I'm just like, I gave you guys my third chance. It's like I came back 3 times just to hope that I can help bring this off the ground. It's just like, I get it. I get like things are difficult, but don't make promises. Like you should have never even said esports. You should have just one day just been working on it, had your game out, let it play, and then be like, oh, here you go, it's all out. Don't be saying this maybe shit.
And it's hard, right? Like we all want it to go pretty quick, and it's hard to expect like everybody to focus on esports like Vale is, right? Because there's not a lot of money in it right now, especially in VR, right? Like it's just that VR is already
I don't
niche.
care about the money. I want fair competition and like. Like I want fair competition and like compensation for my time. Like I want not compensation isn't monetary. Like I want to be like not told that I'm, valuable, but I want people to like watch my stream and actually like have active viewership because of my team doing good. I don't need the money. I don't want the money. I want, the community. I want a community that like supports you. Unfortunately, VRML's community has been not the best to my team or my past team and past games that I've played in. It's not it's not there, unfortunately.
It's all going to take, I think, quite a while longer before again, the esports communities either kind of like probably end up merging and things get a bit more popular. And that's mostly going to happen, I think, when most of the actual competitive VR games are accessible across platforms, right? Pavlov's killing itself because they don't have crossplay. Like I don't.
Well, they
have
Pavlov and Pavlov Shack.
But Pavlov Shack leagues have like 4 times as many teams as like the PC leagues, right? So it's like if you could intermingle those at any point, like it would save it. It's just
So do you think VR is just first-person shooters? You think that's all it is?
No,
I think that's going to be like 60% of it.
But you think if that's all esports is going to be first-person shooter for the Quest? I mean, for
no, there's like that. There's like Lone Echo, right? Like there's like other. Am I saying that right? Is it Lone Echo?
No, it's just Echo VR.
Echo VR. Yeah, sorry. Lone Echo's the campaign.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But I mean, like I think that there are other games. And when it matures more, there's going to be a lot more sport-related VR esports, right? Like so, like there's already Golf Plus, which is actually fantastic.
Olympics.
I'm trying to become Rio's commissioner for Golf Plus. If I get it, there's gonna be a huge tournament for Golf Plus, and I'm gonna whoop some people's ass. I'm gonna DeChambeau the freaking ball, just freaking crush it.
I think it's
400 yards.
I think I have it upstairs right now, but yeah, I got one of those Hello Real, like it's like an actual golf club handle.
I've been trying to get Olin to make one for me.
Yeah.
He won't make me one. I've been pestering him about it.
Yeah, I mean it is fun to use them because you can do like some full on swings and kind of work on your form a bit. And I'm not too good at golf in real life, but I play every now and then. It's fun, so it's just kind of cool being able to do it VR. So like I do suspect, I honestly, shooters are what's in my opinion going to be most exciting for an esport, and most naturally probably one of the first genre to be a VR esport, right? Yeah. It just makes sense for VR.
Yeah.
Like that Echo game seems cool. Like it's to me it looks like like Final Fantasy was it 9 or 10 Blitzball or whatever it was, but that's less interesting to me. But I can see why people like it. But right now where we're at and kind of what you were talking about, Kuss, with the with like people wanting to watch VR content, especially competitive stuff, is it's hard to watch for people who don't like VR. Right, we got like live stabilization.
It's nauseating for some people,
but it doesn't work for a lot of games. It doesn't work for Pavlov, which I actually tried to push. I got connected with Pavlov devs and the live team, and then the Pavlov devs basically took the information to get their easy anti-cheat to whitelist the first person view stabilizer, but then they gave, like with all the Pavlov's development, they gave no updates on when that'll ever happen. So who knows if it ever will. But
we haven't. When was the last Pavlov update? Like
it was like January.
Yeah, I was about to say almost last year now. Like,
yeah,
they're claiming this next one brings in matchmaking, which is kind of why I still have a foot in the door on Pavlov.
There's a couple of things that are coming. Supposedly, they're splitting T and CT weapons. They're doing the matchmaking. They're doing. I don't know. I heard crossplay is coming. Perchance, certain servers are going to be crossplay. I heard. I don't know if it's true. I've heard like a bunch of different stuff. All I've heard is promises. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Like Pavlov is great in what it does, but I want to see it do better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more content come from them. Maps, game modes. Like when they started doing game modes, like official game modes for like TTT, like Clown Infection, I was so excited. It's like that's awesome. I'm glad they're pushing. Community content out, like official community content, but like it sucks.
Actual last update was 12/15/2021.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, so I was thinking January, but it's been way too long. Honestly, my problem with them, and again, I don't know shit, but I'm just guessing. I just think it's kind of silly. Like unless they're doing this in behind the scenes and just not telling people, but they keep pushing off this talk about crossplay, right? But like they're adding matchmaking, so it's like, okay, well your matchmaking is not going to be successful if there's not players. Like I'm not going to do matchmaking if it takes 2 hours.
I think they're doing the crossplay.
For me to get no match. I think they're eventually going to, but they better do it either the same time or soon after matchmaking comes out. Because again, if the initial experience with matchmaking and Pavlov for most people that just jump in and try it is I'm not going to wait 2 hours.
Yeah,
I'm much less likely to go back to that. So
if they have crossplay, I'm coming in. I'm gonna show you PC VR players how to play Pavlov.
I will clap you.
No,
I will clap you. I hate to tell you, dog, you will get clapped.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about, and we're at the end of the hour as well, so I want to eventually get to the end of this podcast because I've been learning about retention. Mr. Beast has been teaching me about retention in some of his videos, so I've been trying to get better at that. But the one thing I wanted to get your last opinion on, because as I consider a VR influencer, I don't know how you consider yourself, because two people you probably are, because you do influence certain directions into the VR world on the haptic suit that you wear, or the treadmill that you use, or even the headset you wear. And a lot of the people say, like, I always hear we need AAA games or A+ games, or we need someone like the bearded tattoo guy, or we need Dr. Disrespect, or we need like Ninja to come in here, or even like Shroud to come in here. Like, I'm so sick and tired of that. And I just want to get your opinion. Like, do you really think that for VR at large, we need these huge console PC influencers and these Call of Duty, Halo games to come in? Like, why can't we just build what we have now and just let it grow like it grew on console, you know?
Well, I think it just needs more time, right? Like a bigger influencer isn't going to bring like Shroud played Pavlov, right? Like that didn't do shit for Pavlov, right? Like, so because people are
T-Pain played Pavlov. Yeah. He played Pavlov. That was pretty funny.
Like, I don't think there's a lack of like marketing or anything around VR. Like everybody knows about it now, right? Like, and people even that, you know, would never really care, like know about it now. And I've even talked to people that typically weren't gamers that got into playing gaming just by picking up a VR headset and they found it more interesting, right? And I think more of that'll come, but you know, there's still barriers in terms of it's spectating it is really rough. Like, there's got to be some universal standard or something that just everyone's capable of that stabilizes, right? Like your spectator view, like just everything.
I think we need like a right eye dominant, but like with left eye, like, you know, like combination. Because you could do that on Steam VR, like the Steam VR view, but it's not native for the app itself.
Well, why can't they just pancake it?
Because you would have just two large circles. Like,
no, they just pancake. They take them both and they pancake it. Like what you're saying. You pick left or right eye. You pancake it.
Yeah.
But you have to have you try and find some way to give people a 180 view. It's almost like when you go on Facebook and you go like this, you can actually see it. And like they have that Facebook 360 view, but you say, hey, on Twitch there's this new mode called 180. So like while you're watching, you can actually go like this and see their views.
Yeah. So kind of in this vein, right? I think it's kind of the opposite, right? I think if there was like, say, Dr. Disrespect decided to just hop on and play like Onward or Pavlov,
I'd watch it.
We would, and we'd love it. People who play VR would love it, but his normal crowd of you know, tens of thousands of people that are probably watching, you know, if it looks nauseating, they're just gonna think VR is still shit and like not really think twice about jumping back into it, right?
Why would the consumer think it's nauseating?
Because they don't actually experience it themselves, you know. Yeah. Like watching VR and playing VR are two entirely different things.
There's a lot of people get motion sick just watching current like VR.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it all the time. Honestly. It never made me.
Because you play VR all the time, though, and you probably aren't susceptible to that.
Some people are just natively like good at just watching random videos with like nauseating effects.
We're gamers, right? Too, and like a lot of people watching streamers are, but like that is what it comes down to. I think if the view is a bit more stabilized, like they'd get a better idea of what VR is like. When you actually have the headset on, right? Because it doesn't feel that shaky and like nauseating and bouncy when you're wearing the headset, right? But when you're watching
like the combat GoPros, like on like actual combat or like paintball or airsoft, I think that would be great for VR. Like just a top of the top of the right shoulder view, down the right shoulder, or whatever your firing shoulder is.
They got something like that in Call of Duty now, don't they? Where like you can switch to
it's like third person view. Yeah. I think that would do very well for VR because like you would still see down the shoulder and see the shots firing out, you know, on the native arm, and you know that would be a very basic system. You just have camera set at this shoulder, looking this way, and it would be a 180 view. You would see perfectly like left and right.
Yeah, it needs the time, right? And like especially as hardware matures too, then the people that get motion sick even wearing a headset, like when things look good enough and the and you can get high enough frames and the hertz is better, less tearing, like that'll prevent people from feeling motion sick in general. So like there's just like physical barriers, right, to VR. So it'll just be a bit more time. I think until we get there. So nothing right now is going to fix VR. It's going to be the hardware and all that being developed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, the hardware is where it's at, and that's what the bigger companies are waiting for. They're waiting for the smaller people to figure it out, and they're just going to steal it. You know, that's what they're going to do. Like, especially like Apple. Like, when Apple comes out with their stuff, they're going to push more probably AR and XR type stuff. I really don't think their headset's going to be made for VR gaming. I
think it's going to be a productivity thing.
Yeah,
I still think we're early for that stuff.
And it's going to be $2,000. If you're an influencer that wants to buy a $2,000 headset, go ahead. Go ahead, have fun.
I don't think productivity belongs in VR. I think it belongs in AR.
Much
more.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they shouldn't call themselves a VR headset. That's the thing, is that you have the Cambria that is looking at itself as a VR headset. They should just call it a productivity headset, and then you got to separate the different categories of what a headset is, and that's just learning and the mistakes that they're gonna make in the next 5-10 years. But I don't think VR will ever go away. A lot of people are just like scared that VR just one day is just gonna
VR
disappear.
will not die.
It's not gonna die.
It's too like novel. Like it's too like it's an experience. It's a too great of experience to lose it as like a as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's got roots, right? Like it's not going anywhere. VR is going to always be great for gaming. Like I just think I think the productivity push using VR is weird. I think AR makes more sense, and because just nobody that wants to be just productivity focused wants a headset like that strapped to your face all day. Like you just don't.
I saw so many people in forums, gamers. Yeah. Do I need to get the Cambria?
Do I need to get that?
And I'm just like, no, that's not an upgrade.
Hopping back to your merch, I want to know. So the future of jBahr, what's your merch gonna look like?
I have a new logo. You want to see it?
All right, so
yes,
we'll talk about this in jBahr while you get the logo as well. I want to also know about future events, things like that, and we'll end the podcast with you kind of taking it away.
Future events that I'm doing. I mean, honestly, a lot of it. I'm still kind of working on my cadence with things, right? Like I'm still. I'm still trying to focus on my YouTube doing like tech reviews for things, like I said, I have that Pimax portal, which eventually, as long as that actually becomes a product, I'll have that to review and to play around with. I mean, I'm really focused and probably going to keep niching down to like the VR esport level, right? It's hard to be the only it's hard for it to be my only thing that I want to focus on because there's just not enough of it yet. But honestly, a lot of my content is going to end up, I think, revolving kind of around that, along with the immersive tech, so I mean, I would expect like I'm gonna try to be doubling down here with like Vale and Pavlov, right? Like I've been doing Vale scrims and we're still doing Pavlov League and scrims. So it's gonna be a lot of that, hopefully trying to get into more tournaments around that stuff, and just kind of keep pushing that until the next bigger, better thing comes out. But that's what keeps me addicted. And I mean, I think more people should use VR treadmills. I think VR Central's in the chat.
I would love to spend the $2,000, but damn, man.
Yeah, it's not easy. I know, I get it, and I get lucky. Affordable. Well, I got the second one for free, right? Because Kat likes me, so I got the second one without having to pay for it, which was huge, and that was awesome. And I was one of the first people to get it and be able to review it, so super pumped about that, right?
I'm trying to
get. Do you have to wear special shoes for that?
What was that?
Do you have to wear special shoes for that?
Yes, you do. They're so actually the new ones on the C2, right? The shoes actually, the sensors go into the sole of the shoe, and they work like they're optical sensors like on the bottom of your mouse, and that's what makes the second version of this so much more accurate. Is it's just real precise.
Yeah.
Where can I put on Zoom? Can I even put a picture in here?
Let's see here. Zoom. I don't know.
No, it doesn't look like it can.
There's a chat. I mean, you might be able to.
Has anyone done anything in the chat? Let's see.
I think I got it. I think I found it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's a bit more generic. I still love this logo, but I went to the same guy that made this for me with what I was thinking, and you guys will like
that's
this.
Your sweatshirt, your original sweatshirt is very well done, may I admit.
Can you put it in the chat?
I just did. You guys, it might just download. Oh, it's just clicked open.
I gotta click the download. But well.
Hopefully
no viruses.
Sketchy, right?
Yeah. Hopefully no virus.
Oh crap! Let's get this.
Don't trust me too much, but it's literally just playing into the mustache.
That. Your long mustache merging into your name. That's awesome.
I'm just gonna own it, yeah. But so that's what it'll probably look like more. Just it's all the same content, but I guess a little more family friendly.
I'm gonna try and pop it up here really quick.
Ruckup just gave us accurate VR user status. We have 171 million concurrent players, or generalized players.
That's across everything, Ruckup? That's a lot.
I think.
I'm just teasing you, Wise. I know I always go back and forth with Wise. I talk shit so much whenever I see him not using his treadmill because he got the C1.
I know one of my friends uses his treadmill, and that's Soup. I don't know, Soup and Salad Grind, if you know him.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, I think he uses his. I don't know which gen he has, but dude, seeing him run that thing, dude, hamster wheel, bro. Like that's all it makes you think of is hamster wheel.
Oh, jeez.
It's fun to get into. But yeah. Why is he always comes back? Because I have the B haptics vest and I paid for that myself, right? I got the X40 and I absolutely hate it. But everyone seems to love them.
What? So what do you dislike about the B haptics vest?
All of it. So, well, okay. So I shouldn't say that. I'm being mean. But it seems like most people like it. What I don't like is it's not immersive haptics. It's just vibrations on top of your body. So, which is fine for recoil, right? But on my spine, I've kind of worked up my spine, right, where I put the force tube, the haptic buttstock on my spine. That makes sense to me, right? Because that's the type of you get a sensation like you're shooting something, and that's something you're normally feeling off your body, right? But if I'm gonna get shot or something, right, like the vibrations on top of my body, it just wasn't doing it for me immersion wise. I like that I was able to hook it up, and whenever I do wear it, which is rare, I do it on I do have like integrations with the stream, right, where people can redeem things and it'll do things on it. But like just the haptics just don't feel it didn't add any more to the VR experience in my opinion. Like it just felt like it was rumblings on top of my body. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
Until a certain point, like I mean it tries to give you what you want, but like it can't accurately, hey, you can't get shot and feel it,
Yeah. So I've talked with them in the past. I got to reach back out to them, but the oboe vest, right? Like that one's more appealing to me because that one, and not in like a incredibly painstaking way from what I could tell, but like, have you guys seen the oboe thing? It's like a shirt, right? So it's
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's like an Under Armour shirt, but it's got muscle stimulators on the inside. And what it does, so they said, for example, like if a game integrates their shit and you get shot, it's going to do like a main muscle stimulation and then some micro stimulations around that to simulate your breathing.
See, I want high intensity stuff like that.
That's disgusting but cool.
That's way better in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love B haptics. I think it's a premium. Like I remember getting the vest and like it's super well done. I think it's a good product. But like it's just that's early for that type of haptics in my opinion.
No, I wouldn't feel like I got shot.
I like my force tube because that feels like I'm feeling a little bit more out of it, and I think in VR it doesn't take a lot to trick your brain to being more immersed, right?
Yeah.
But like I don't know, yeah.
You're blind. You're blind, and if you get shot, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna be like even a little bit, and that's why I was like telling a lot of people when it comes to esports, like. I was talking to Jonathan about this. I go, you guys need to do a tournament where you actually get shocked when you get shot and like really drop you. Like start dropping your ass. Like I just people sign a waiver.
You play a lot differently.
Yeah, you will. You will definitely play more. You won't be running and gunning.
X40 tasers. I want like 13 or 12 or 13 tasers all along my body.
Exactly. So yeah, I had your thing pop up huge on the screen, but I have it popped up now. Looks like your mustache is going and tied into your hair. It looks like, and then someone asked, "Why is your forehead so
tied
big?"
into
That's
the
all
name
they said.
of the logo,
They said you put your whole logo on your forehead.
Yeah, there's a big old brain in there, man.
Exactly. It's just not his big mustache. He's got a big old brain in there, people.
That's right.
The mustache is the brain, so it like links into his brain.
It's like Avatar, or you just like attach it to some weird shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely a cool logo. Too bad you had to lose the beer and headshots. It's probably always going to be there in memories because you're not going to change your ways.
It's everywhere, man. I bought so much shit with my old logo on it. Like I just have like posters and other shit everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could still have events, that's outside of it that's not related to the.
I mean, I still have it all right. So like it'll be in the back pocket in case I ever want to do something with it down the road. And you never know. It could be like a spin-off type deal, but
Origin, you're like your Origin. Hey, this is what we wear.
That's right.
Your anniversary or something like, hey, here we were. Here I am now. There's all the merch.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the content's all the same, which is nice, right? Like I still do my thing, and my demographic is definitely still kind of pointed towards the older crowd.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but hopefully I just maybe I get more deals, right?
Hey, I think it'll be changed. I think just the younger people just need to like see it, especially when it comes to TikTok. You're gonna get that younger crowd, and like I said in the beginning of this podcast, is that you're getting people that don't even play VR watching it. Like I saw some random person play Trover Saves the Universe, like a random game like that, and had so many views because Trover is not too wobbly. It's you're sitting, you're a Cheriopian, you're messing around. And
it's
you're
fun.
Playing, it's fun. And there's so many people that enjoyed it. And I think that's not a bad idea. So whoever did that on TikTok, good for you. Like he had like 6 to 10,000 views, something like that. It was a ridiculous amount of people. But
it's probably hopping up now because the niche content's being viewed, and like it'll hopefully get grabbed in the system.
Well, December's about to happen. We're about to see a huge growth, and my biggest thing I want to know is we have a war right now against Pico and Quest. I want to see. And I will definitely be talking about this come January. Who won the price war when it came to December for Christmas? If people trusted the TikTok brand of Pico, or they still stayed with Meta, that's going to be a very interesting dynamic.
That's tough metric though, because it's you still can't really easily get a Pico in the U.S. So
we should probably wrap up with this argument here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we better because I told you I'm doing retention. I got to be put through an hour.
I got you, man. I got you.
Better.
Your co-host is here for you.
Listen to Mr. Beast.
Yeah. So jBahr, you have any final remarks before we end this?
No, I appreciate you having me on again. You know me, I like to talk. I like to shoot the shit. It's kind of nice. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, I'll throw out. Yeah, if anyone wants to check me out, it's just jBahr VR pretty much everywhere.
Link in the description.
jBahrVR.com/links. Yeah, it should be out there. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of Pavlov and Veil and other shit like that for me. Up until I see if Pavlov just literally has no future. But I am gonna hold on to that one for a while, and I still enjoy playing it even pugging. So
cool.
Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of that.
Any final remarks, Kuss?
Everybody have a happy Christmas. I don't know. It's still coming up. Happy holidays. Just
we'll do one more Monday before Christmas. We'll have to do a Christmas special. It might just be you and I, doing some hoing around. I mean,
I'll do a giveaway. We'll do a
Christmas giveaway.
I'll be throwing in some money for a Christmas
giveaway. Everyone hear that?
I got a good idea though. You guys should both chug a gallon of eggnog each.
I don't like eggnog.
I love eggnog. This is not a challenge to me. This is my normal day.
You're gonna watch me throw up on stream? You want that?
I'd see you both. I'm sure after a gallon of eggnog.
That's freaking gross. I'll do a gallon of milk.
No, ew.
God. Yeah, I love milk.
That's like the thing, though, isn't it? Like impossible to drink a full gallon of milk in a short period of time without
milk.
Upchucking. All right,
I'll do it within an hour stream. I'll drink a gallon of milk. No, I'm not gonna do that. But we got prizes coming. This is jBahr's new logo, so be seeing that around. Like I said, all of his new link tree is in the description, and we also did another video with him about 2-3 months ago that gets deeper into who jBahr is. This one was kind of bring on just because I liked him as a guest, and I think that last podcast we went for like 2 hours, like over 2 hours. We really went into depth on and that's why I've been trying to been sticking with the hour thing, because man, there's sometimes and I look at the stats and I'm just like, you guys are only watching this damn thing for an hour. We talked for 2.
Listen to it.
So next Monday, guys, we're gonna put it out there, but I'm gonna be giving a giveaway for Havoc merch, all the new merch, all for Christmas. It'll be out of my pocket for you guys. We'll do, I don't know how many we'll do, but me and Garreltsy to get together. We'll make a post. Yeah, we'll make a post about it.
We'll talk about it. So check out all our sponsors, because I'll have a sponsor poster next
Rock
time.
Up, Olin, Dubby. Hit up our sponsors, man.
All right, jBahr, always a pleasure. I will definitely have you on again, because I love talking to you.
The stash is majestic.
So,
There's always shit to talk about. So,
always.
Yeah.
So thank you again, everybody. Waves at the camera. We're going to the ending screen. See you next Monday giveaway. Be there. Bye. Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
9 MP.
MP.
jBahr, bro.